Monument Valley. This is a place I've been wanting to visit since I was a kid. My great aunt used to send me these Arizona Highways magazines, and I would just pour through them marveling at how incredibly beautiful this place was. Well, I finally got my chance. I'm Christine. I like taking pictures. You're joining me on a Four Corners Desert Southwest series, and today we're going to Monument Valley. So last time we were over at Valley of the Gods, we had just finished camping. A couple of photos in the morning, we had packed up the car and we were on our way. Valley of the Gods had been so good to us, but we didn't have too far to go until we got to our first stop of the day on the way to Monument Valley. As usual, whenever I passed through filming locations of movies I'd enjoyed, I really enjoy pointing them out. This time we're passing through a scene from Forrest Gump. An iconic roadway in its own right, but hilarious to me that Tom Hanks has been on this channel twice already. A break from the car, there we were next to the roadway, now to get a photo. Unfortunately, a little bit late to the punch. It was already tourism central out here, so it was hard to not get a photo without people in it. A 3-to-1 crop helped out the image a little bit, but still, I'm kind of left wondering what's going on lower down in the scene here. I'm sure we could have been patient, but for us it was time to keep on keeping on. Besides, okay shot from the car, not really too happy with it, but you know, it's one of those everybody's taking this photo kind of photos. A short drive around the corner, and it wasn't too much longer that we were inside the valley itself. There it is, the view. No, really, they've leaned into it. They have the View Hotel, and whenever you think about Monument Valley, this is what you think of. This scene, this view. If you come out here, you're absolutely going to be sharing the sights with a bunch of other people, but let's go ahead and take a couple photos. This first panorama is 4 landscape images taken at 70 millimeters. Let's go ahead and switch it to portrait and then do a couple more photos and see how that looks. 79 megapixels in total, this 6-image panorama gives a bit more detail to the scene. I think overall, working with the panoramas was my preference to either a 24mm image or a 16mm image on full frame. Plenty more to see here. The valley is part of the Navajo Nation and is considered sacred by its people. Still, there is a 17-mile loop catering to visitors and tourists that are looking to see this incredible place. Just, you know, before you hit the dirt road, have a look at the gift shop. The view isn't that bad. Anyway, onto the dirt pathway. There's a number of stops along the 17-mile road, the first of which that you come across is one called John Ford Point. I'm not sure who this John Ford guy is that they would name the point after. I mean, I knew a John Ford in college. He flies airplanes now, so it's not this guy. Guess we'll never know. Never gonna know. Absolutely beautiful location, but to my fellow camera users, have you ever noticed how easy it can be to turn this dial right here? Yeah, that happened. I was so excited too, got a bunch of cool pictures of Ilya, passed my camera over to him, he was gonna get some of me, and then I got back in the car and noticed the mistake that I had made. A bunch of photos overexposed. Happens to the best of us when we're taking photos. I think we've all had that moment. Completely my mistake. Anyway, it was time to keep moving on. A little further ahead, there's this brilliant shoal of sand sitting up against the red sandstone, made a nice contrast to the blue sky. The road continues to the Totem Pole and Chei formations. Lighting's getting really harsh at this point in the day, which made for a challenge. Also, we were limited on the angles we could capture since we were traveling without a Navajo guide and needed to stick to the main pathway. From that viewing area, the road continues over towards Artist's Point. The wind started picking up, resulting in visibility changes with the sand. Still, there were breaks. The viewpoint here had a large butte over to the right that I knew I would want to include in a sweeping view of the valley. A lot of day to go yet, so we're not done with the video at this point, but that's about it for Monument Valley. A few notes though, I'd say I've been there, but that I haven't really done Monument Valley. We were there in the middle of the day, the lighting was harsh, and there's so many more places that I'd like to see out there, like this view here. Only thing is, to get there, you need to have a Navajo guide, and you have to go way west and then south and come up around to be able to get to there. Still, one thing I wanted to point out that I thought was pretty cool about Monument Valley, let's go back to one of these photos. Check out what's different about these clouds. Look at the undersides of them. There's a little bit of a reddish hue there. That is not an artifact of photo editing. That's completely real. Just with the amount of sandstone that's on the ground there, you have so much red light that's being reflected that it colors the undersides of the cloud red. Now in the afternoon, we had two priorities. One, we needed to eat, now. And then on top of that, we needed to find where we were gonna be camping that night. First issue was a pretty quick fix over in Mexican Hat. Enjoyed a nice little stop over there, talked about our options, and we thought we might go up the Moki Dugway and see if we might be able to get a spot over at Muley Point that night. Ideal since we would have a grand view of the San Juan River and its multiple gooseneck turns. But first we'd have to conquer the Moki Dugway. Can you see it? No? How about now? Still no? Well, now we're already on it. This thing is just crazy steep, and they call it the Moki Dugway after Moki steps. Those were etchings into the rock that native people used to use to get up really steep terrain. If you're out this way at some point, and you're just a little uncomfortable behind the wheel of your car, or you don't really like heights so much, I would definitely reconsider if you want to have this one as part of your plans. Ilya and I had done a good portion of the White Rim Road camping out in Canyonlands before, so this wasn't terribly unfamiliar terrain for us. And after the Dugway, it was a short drive over to Muley Point. This spot was absolutely incredible. Huge vista, just one problem, our time here was cut tragically short. Why? Why would we leave early? So look at this scene. It's beautiful, but you have all this haze off in the distance. I'm sure you noticed earlier in the video, the wind was whipping. That was just picking up all of the sand, and then whenever you get on top of this huge mesa, all of the wind is just coming over the ridge and then just getting compounded as it ends up reaching you. So you couldn't even breathe without sand getting into your mouth. So we went here thinking about camping. We weren't going to camp here. We ended up deciding to go back down to Valley of the Gods, stay there for the night, just grabbed a couple more photos on the way out. Okay, Valley of the Gods Part 2 Electric Boogaloo. Incredibly windy when we first got there, but my goodness, I think you'll agree we had a nice spot. Thursday morning. The day started early for us. There was nothing to block the sun from our little section of the plateau. I grabbed a couple of photos at sunup. Not too long after that, we packed up and started making our way north to where we were going to be staying that night. Canyonlands National Park.
Oh, we're getting so excited.
And that is where we'll pick up next time. There's a lot of footage I need to work through before that, but it should be a pretty fun one. This is the third video in the series, so if you're just joining, welcome. I'll put the first one over here, the second one down here, and then the little subscribe-y thing will be down over to the side there. So I hope to see you around. Take care. Bye.